Chic in the shade No Vacancy. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm playing with these two palettes to do this eyeshadow look. I love the way it turned out. If you want to see how I did it, then just stick around. And if you've never been here before, hey there, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really enjoy eyeshadow, especially colorful eyeshadow, let's be real. And I do upload several videos every week. It's all eyeshadow related content. So if you like that sort of thing, I do hope you'll stick around. Consider liking and subscribing before you go. Now let's get rolling with this look. For today's look, I know that I want to use my Tropicolor palette from Sydney Grace and Tina from the Fancy Face. I want to use this shadow right here. This is a duochrome. If you can see in the mirror, it looks kind of reddish purpley. It also has some orange in it. I don't know if it's a duo or multi. Anyway, it's a multi-chromatic color. So I want to use this one, and I think I'm going to pair it with one of these up here and then use this shade to blend it out. And then I think I'm going to throw this on the lower lash line, but this doesn't seem like a standard Sydney Grace shimmer. This one seems a little bit more dull. I don't know, closer to a traditional shimmer, I think. I don't know for sure. I don't think I've used it yet, but if it doesn't have quite the oomph that I want, then I'm going to take the multi-chrome from this palette. This is Planet Spirit between Oud and Zai and Betty Bean, and I will use that multi-chrome, which is a very light toned pink iridescent, really pretty. I'll use this on the lower lash line, I think. That's my plan. I've already primed my eyes. Everything that I'm using is mentioned, if possible, linked down below in the description box. So let's zoom in and get going. I got a comment in one of my community posts a while back asking for your suggestions, what sort of things you might like to see, and Sharon Flowers 66 gave me a couple of ideas, so I'm going to do some of them in today's video. Her entire comment said, maybe you could do a look using one shade from 4 or 5 palettes, or make it more challenging by using your favorite shade from each palette. I might do that at some point, I'm not sure, but then she said, as far as your questions go, your favorite color to use in looks, what color does your eye go to first in a palette, what color do you dislike in a palette, favorite matte to shimmer ratio. And then she said, I see you need 7 more subscribers to make 500. Congratulations on the growth of your channel. Thank you, Sharon. I, at this point, have filmed my 500 subscriber video. I think it's probably live by the time you guys are seeing this. I don't know. Sometimes my videos are a little bit out of order based on how they fit best in the queue or what's happening at the time. I want to make sure that I'm not talking about something well after it's topical. But anyway, I have officially hit 500 subscribers twice because I hit it and then I dropped again. Anyway, thank you very much, all of you who have subscribed. You guys are the greatest. So in today's video, I'm going to answer the questions that Sharon asks here. So starting off with your favorite color to use in looks. I think I'm going to grab cocoa beans and put it out here. My favorite color to use in looks, I think realistically, I would have to say green. I just love green in general. I find green to be a very calming, peaceful sort of color. It makes me feel both relaxed and energized at the same time, if that makes sense. I think it relaxes me because it's a very natural color, but it's not boring like beige. You see it in the earth all around us, and it's beautiful and just feels fresh. But then it can energize me as well for the same reason, and also new growth and life. Green is associated with those things. I really like green in like exercise equipment, for example, like a neon or fluorescent green bicycle. I think that it's a very energizing color. It's a strange mix of making me want to move and be active and fit and healthy, but also being calming, relaxing, and peaceful for me. So I have some green decor in my home, and I enjoy painting with green or seeing green around me, and I really love to play with green eyeshadow. I'm taking rum raisin and hitting the edge of this shadow with rum raisin. Gonna also carry this into my crease a little bit further just to warm up this area. You know, this palette, it really only has either blue or warm tone transition colors, which I find to be quite interesting. This palette's got 2 matte blues, and then the only other light transition sorts of colors are cream, yellow, and this light brown. The other mattes in the palette are a mid-tone but leaning darker green and orange, and then the 3 dark mattes in the corner. It's interesting to me. I'm a little surprised that there isn't a lighter mid-tone green to use, because there are 2 or 3 greenish shimmers in here, or even a light to mid-tone pink that you could use. I mean, honestly, the colors that I plan on using today are pink, so I don't know. I feel like every time I use this palette, I end up having quite a warm crease because of the options here. This is going to be such a quick look because the Sydney Grace shadows are amazing, but let's go to the next question. Sharon asks, what color does your eye go to first in a palette? I've got the shade Dr. Bird on this flat brush. It did not pick up great. I think that it's probably going to be best with my finger, but I'm going to try it anyway. It's hard to say what color my eye would go to in a palette because my palettes are all different, you know. I can't necessarily say I'm drawn first to the blues or my eye jumps to the greens. Oh, that's pretty. It is definitely going to pick up better on my finger, so I'll grab Dr. Bird with my finger. Oh, much better. If you hear any sounds, that's my little one playing outside with her older sister. Okay, so in a palette, generally when I'm going into an eyeshadow palette, I already have a concept of what I want because I've looked at my outfit and I've thought, okay, I know this palette's going to work with that. So for example, today I was wearing this pink shirt and I thought, I don't have that many pinks. I don't want to play with Mimosa, but I know that there's a pink shimmer in Tropicolor. So I pulled out Tropicolor. My eye went right to the pink shimmer and then it went right to the Dr. Bird shimmer. And I thought, okay, I could use those today. And then I needed to build the look after that. So if I use Dr. Bird, that's more of a pinky, browny, orangey sort of thing. It's gonna pull different colors depending on what you pair it with. Like right now, paired with the brown out here, it's looking very pinky purple. But there's even some blue in there. Oh, it's pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. So then I thought, all right, well, if I use those shimmers, what other mattes can I bring in to work with those shimmers, to work with my palette, but I don't want to be too matchy-matchy because I have come to the realization that I like my eyeshadow look to be its own thing that works with what I'm wearing, but I almost never want it to be a perfect match. So I'm bringing in some pink that'll tie into my shirt, but then the rest of the look stands by itself. So here's, oh, look how pretty that is. I really wasn't expecting the way that this is leaning pink purple because in the pan, the shade looks very pinky brown with a bit of orange. And I'm not getting any orange the way it is right now. If I had used the orange and the yellow in this matte, I probably would pull more orange, more warm. But as it is, this multi-chrome, definitely a multi-chrome, is reminding me of the Sea Talk palette from Udenzai. So I hope that answers your question, Sharon, about what colors I'm first drawn to. It's really a matter of what one color or two colors do I want to use, whether it's this matte and this shimmer, and then building my look around it. Sometimes I bring in something else. For example, today I knew that I wanted a more iridescent light-toned pink to really shine on the lower lash line, which we're getting to next. But that color doesn't exist in this palette, so what other palette can I bring in to get that? Next question, what color do you dislike in a palette? I'm grabbing just a smidge of Cocoa Beans and tapping it right on the edge of this shimmer, just to make sure that I don't have shimmer going all the way out to my outer corner because I don't like that. So here I am with a small blending brush. I'm picking up Tropical Punch. This is the darker pink shimmer in the palette. I think it's gonna perform more like a little bit drier, kind of like the Muse shade in the ABH Nouveau palette, just has a little bit of shimmer quality but behaves more like a matte. So I'm taking this, and I think this brush might be too big, but I'm going to put this on my whole lower lash line. What color do I dislike in a palette? I would have to say a bone matte. I'm thinking the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. It is a great palette, but that one shade called Snow is so very boring. I really wish that it were white because a bone matte, for me, my preferences and tastes, it brings almost nothing. Basically, I can use it to blend out a shadow where there's too much, but it's not light enough to be a good inner corner highlight, and it's not dark enough to bring in a lot of contrast if I'm pairing it with something else. I have a week of Wilderness, which I am currently filming. It's probably not going to go up until sometime in October, but in the first look in that week of Wilderness video, in the first look of Week of Wilderness, I do use the Snow shade quite prominently in the look, and it brings in just a softer, quieter version of the colors that I use, but it still doesn't bring a lot of contrast, and I end up adding some shimmer on top just to pop a little bit more. So I think I would have to say a bone matte is my least favorite color in the palette. Now in this palette, there is this shade here called Coconut, which is a bone colored, almost matte, but it's got some shimmer. This is an exception. This Coconut shade is phenomenal. It is, I'm going to swatch it for you. This is a shadow which will give you some great inner corner contrast. And you might have seen in my previous While I Was Out videos, I used this shadow for an inner corner highlight, and it is striking. So this is an exception. It is a bone matte almost. I don't know if you guys are seeing a great swatch. I'm sorry, but it's amazing. It really is. And it's got a tiny bit of sparkle in it, so it's not a true matte. But if anyone can do a really good bone matte, I would say Sydney Grace or Blend Bunny, honestly. every day, waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid, I have loved you for 1,000 years. Sharon's last question, favorite matte to shimmer ratio. I assume you're talking about in a whole palette. I'm grabbing the Planet Spirit. This is the multi-chrome up here. It's called Fauna. I'm going to pick it up with a small, or, well, I don't know, like a small blending brush, and I'm going to spray it. So within a palette, my favorite matte to shimmer ratio, I would say, oh yes, this is perfect. Perfect. I'm going to lay this on about half of that pink shimmer from the Tropicolor palette, but then leave the rest of the lower lash line as it is. I think probably 2/3 matte, 1/3 shimmer. I really enjoy the roundness and depth and how you can really build a look with mattes, but then I like a pop of shimmer. It brings some sparkle. I do like sparkle. It brings some shine. So I like shimmer, but if I had to choose shimmer or matte, I would probably go, I've always said I would go more matte. I think if I were doing an entire eye look and I had to choose between all shimmer or all matte, I would say all matte, because you get a lot more variety and depth and variability, a lot of warmth, and just a more well-rounded sort of look. If I weren't doing like a full eye look, you know, it was just running out for the day, and I had to choose between all shimmer and all matte, I might choose all shimmer, just grab one lovely light sparkly shade, wipe it on my whole lid space, and be done. So I don't know. But for a shimmer to matte ratio, I would say 1/3 shimmer, 2/3 matte. I am absolutely loving how this is looking. I think that it was pretty, but then the multi-chrome in the corner and carried down a bit just brightened everything and just brought it to life. I love how this looks. I'm going to choose something in my waterline, do the other eye, and I will be right back and we'll close out this video. This is the look all finished. I think it's really pretty, really, really pretty. I love what that multi-chrome did to the lower lash line. Let me tell you what I did to finish off. In my waterline, of course, I used a ColourPop Creme Gel Liner. This is the shade Boots. It's a very bright pink, really. And then on my face, I'm wearing two things. The ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade No Vacancy. ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade No Vacancy, and then I have a Frosé highlighter from BH Cosmetics. Adds a little bit of highlighter here, a little bit of an icy pink on my lips. I'm wearing ColourPop lip oil. This is the shade Cosmic Click. I know I say it all the time. I really enjoy their lip oils, and I think that they're one of the more affordable lip oils. I mean, even the NYX lip oil is like $10. The ColourPop at full price I think is around $8. So what I usually do is when I am making a ColourPop order, I'll just go to their sale page and buy all the lip oils and all the creme gel liners that I like or can find. I put on some mascara. I did not do any kind of winged eyeliner. This is the whole look, and I think it's beautiful. I don't usually go for pink, honestly. Pink is one of my least used eyeshadow colors, but this is the kind of pink I can get behind because it's pink paired with other things, or it's, you know, a fun twist on pink. It's not just Barbie. Now, you know what surprises me is how much this reminds me of a look that I recently did using the What's Up Beauty Geodes palette. It was something I had done off camera. I turned it into a reel just showing you the look, but I didn't do a tutorial. A whole bunch of people loved that look and they asked for a tutorial, and honestly, I would love to, but I don't necessarily remember what I did to get that look. So I don't want to take the time to try to do a recreation without knowing exactly what I did to get there in the first place. Anyway, this look reminds me a lot of that look, and I think it's really beautiful. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed Sharon's questions and my answers to them. Sharon, thank you so much for giving me some questions to talk about. I appreciate all of you. Again, thank you for helping me hit 500 subscribers. If you are not a subscriber, I do hope you'll consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!